This is Endymion by Dan Simmons, the third installment in the Hyperion saga. And I don't know what to say about this book. This book was strange, you know. We have Hyperion, the fall of Hyperion, and then we have this one. And this one is, I don't know what happened here. We have a lot of good stuff here, but at best, it is in the background. Uh, this book is basically a journey on a raft on a river from world to world. And I'm just like, what was the editor thinking about this, right? Because, like, 90% of this book is just this is a big chase scene, basically. We have 500 plus pages of a chase scene, and I'm wondering how was this allowed to be published? Wasn't anybody involved in the publishing process? Didn't they look at this and think, maybe people won't read this because it's bland? You know, that's what I would call this book. This book is bland in a lot of areas. You can't have a goddamn chase scene on a raft on river through multiple worlds, and it's just inventory after inventory. We got this, we got that, we got these guns, we got this laser, we got supplies, and the raft is tied with this, and the logs, and the oars, and it was just a chore to read this book, right? And then we have the Shrike, who's barely there, no explanation whatsoever. That's the problem when you have something a mystery and it takes you like 4 books to uh, explain something, right? Because this is on the third book, and the Shrike is basically still a killing machine. Why it's here, why is it helping us? It's still a mystery, and that sucks, right? And the Shrike barely makes an appearance here. It's like in the background, and then it comes back up. It helps us, and then no explanation whatsoever, right? I'm just wondering, didn't anybody involved in the publishing of this book just really look at it and say, maybe you should rewrite this, Dan? Maybe you should rewrite this because, I mean, this is just a chase scene, bro. A lame ass chase scene. We got Raul Endymion, we got the android Batik, we got Ina, if that's how you pronounce her name, and then we have Father Captain Desoya, and he is a captain and a priest, and he is tasked with finding this prophet, the girl who is a danger to the Vatican and the Pax and so on. But you know, there are a lot of good things in this book, but they are kept well in the background. That's the problem. We have good concepts here, good ideas, but they are kept in the background for some reason, right? And this book is just one big chase scene, and we're on the raft and we gotta go to the next Farcaster portal, and blah blah blah, and it's just I don't know. This was a chore to read, unfortunately. I really wanted to love this series, but I don't know what happened. What made the author think that having a chase scene on a raft on a river was a good idea? It's like, what is this? Uh, what is this? What is this? I don't know. I don't know. Not to say that it was completely bad. There's some good writing here and there. There's some good characters here and there. But of course, it's not a masterpiece. It was disappointing in many areas. Obviously, you got Hyperion, you got the fall of Hyperion, and then you have this thing, right? Which is, I don't know. It has a good premise, but it is poorly executed, in my humble opinion. You can't just have this new premise here and just oh, she is from the past and she came to the future and she's the one who teaches and she doesn't know anything about anything because she hasn't learned anything yet. And there's this mysterious figure that's guiding her on this trip on the raft on the river, and it might be the AI core, and then it reveals that it's not actually the AI core. It might be the ultimate intelligence, which is strange. Whatever. The Shrike is here, but we don't know why it's here. But it's protecting the girl for some reason. We don't know why. And then you have a nice little part here where we find out that Father Dure in the previous book became the Pope, but then we find out here that he was assassinated for some reason. They called him, he was viewed as, going against the traditional teachings of Christianity. So he was assassinated, and because he had the cruciform, Father Leonard Hoyt got resurrected and he became a despot, and the Vatican is back in control. And that was a nice little plot point that I wish was more developed in this book. We don't really get a lot of information about the pilgrims, what really happened after the fall of Hyperion. And it was a nice little glimpse at what really happened, because we thought Father Hoyt was a pretty humble, pretty modest, pretty good dude, and then we find out that he became a dictator for the Vatican, right? And he has been the Pope for, like, I don't know, 200 plus years because of the cruciform, right? And then we meet Martin Salinas again. He is old, he's still the character we know. And then we find out that um, you know, what's her name? Braun Lamia, the mother of Aina, she died. We don't know how she died, why she died. And then we have the consul. He went into space, and then at the end, it is revealed that he got killed by this new threat, Nemes. You know, and we there are a lot of good points in this book, but they're just not developed. We spend way too much time on this raft, on this journey that, I don't know, leads to a house, and she's gonna learn from an architect, and I don't know. It's very contrived in some places. It just doesn't make any sense to me. What's really happening here? You know. Um, we didn't get a lot of information about the pilgrims. We didn't get a lot of time with the Vatican or the Pax. We didn't spend a lot of time with Martin Salinas. We didn't get a lot of information about the pilgrims. We don't know why the Shrike is here to protect this girl. We didn't get pretty much anything except we're on the raft and we're going places for some reason, and the Farcaster portals activate because of the girl, but we don't really know why, right? Maybe it's the Void Witch binds. We don't really know, and to wait, yeah, it's I don't know. I was expecting more from this legendary series, and I'm just getting more and more disappointed because all the good concepts are here, but they are poorly used, poorly utilized. You cannot have such an iconic character as the Shrike and just keep him in the background, and he appears a little bit and then he disappears. We don't know anything about anything. And I started reading the last book, The Rise of Endymion, and apparently we're gonna find some revelations there. But if it takes 4 books for you to reveal a couple of secrets of the book, I mean, I don't know what to say, right? Being myself a writer and having difficulties with publishing the book, it's been 6 months, 7 months since I started querying to literary agents, and I've had rejections for various reasons. But I'm wondering, how could this get published and expect sales, big sales? Because this is, I don't know. As a reader, I found a big chunk of this book. I find it, just bland, and you got a good cast of characters here, but they're again poorly utilized. We got, and I'm gonna say it again, we got inventories. We got so much inventory, and then we're going to this world, and then we're going to that world, and we're gonna meet these people in the frozen world, and they're wearing rife suits, and they're speaking weird, and they are the indivisible people, and that was cute, but I mean, I don't know. And then we're introduced to this new antagonist at pretty much the end of the book. Her name is Nemes. She is, I don't know, some sort of machine as well, but she is sentient, and she fights with the Shrike, which was interesting. But it happens so late in the book that I'm just like, and this is just a chase scene. We got and Captain Father DeSoya, and he is tasked to find the girl and apprehend the girl, and by the end he is tasked to kill the girl. But at the end, he doesn't. He actually helps our cast of characters escape. Blah blah blah. And in the next book, he is just a priest. He's no longer a captain, and so on. And I don't know, I haven't counted, but big chunk of chapters, they just start with Father Captain the Soya does this, and Father Captain the Soya so, and I'm just like, I don't know. If I were the editor of this book, I would have told Dan Simmons, really listen, you have to rewrite this book. I mean, it's a damn shame because everything was here, ripe for the taking, and it just seems so subdued, so lenient, so submissive, right? So obedient. There's nothing here that pops, right? We have good concepts, good characters, a decent plot, but it never goes anywhere. We get little hints here and there about the future, and she becomes a prophet, and this guy has a terrible fate awaiting him, and I don't know. I don't know. I am disappointed. Some say the first two books, Hyperion and the Fall of Hyperion, they're masterpieces. That's arguable, but yeah, they're good books. And then you have Endymion and the Rise of Endymion, which a lot of fans apparently don't like that much, and I can see why. And as with all such books, you got a lot of praise here on the back, and sure, it's written well. As always, there are literary references. There are attempts at humor here and there, which, whatever, it's about taste. But overall, a big disappointed. Well, like I said, listen, this is advice to uh, upcoming writers. When you have such a good premise, and when you have such an iconic character as the Shrike, listen, this is writing 101. If you have something good like the Shrike, right, and the premise of this book series, you do not keep them on the sidelines. You do not keep them on the back burner, right? This is the third book in the series, and we're still fucking around. We're still going to places, and we're still, there's a lot of scientific mumbo jumbo here, right? A lot of techno lingo, a lot of explanations to how the ships move and how they travel and how they work and all the pieces. And listen, you do not have to have such lengthy explanations of technology for this to be a good sci-fi book. Really, if you took all away all that scientific explanation, it wouldn't bother me. It wouldn't take anything from the book. It would actually make it better. Okay, just because you have a lot of technological, scientific explanations, definitions, that does not make this a good scientific book, right? We get it. You know your stuff. You know your science. But still, this is a novel here. This is a story. This is first about the characters and then the narrative, which is the journey. And pretty much both of these parts fail miserably here. The journey is absolutely boring as fuck, and the characters, they are, um, for the most part, they are tame as well. You got little moments here and there when the characters pop, but overall they are dull as well, which is a shame because they could have been amazing characters, right? Especially her, because she is allegedly the chosen one, the child of prophecy, and she, you know, if you read this, you know what I'm talking about. This could have been yet again an amazing book, and I don't know. I don't know what to say. Um, it's a damn shame, right? Advice to writers: if you have a good character, use that character. Don't keep him or her in the background, right? And for the love of God, if you're gonna make an entire book about a journey, about traveling, make it interesting, please. Please stop with the inventories and let me tell you all about this raft and all about this tent I'm making and how we're gonna get food and supplies and all of the weapons. And nobody cares about that, bro. Nobody cares about it. We've all read Robinson Crusoe. We don't need another book like that. Basically, too many descriptions, too many details that are useless. Useless. I don't care about any of this. Any of this. And you got page after page of nonsense, right? Uh, and we hear this a lot. It's not about the ending or the end result. It's about the journey, right? It's about the journey and all the friends we've made along the way. But this journey here is just, I don't know. I don't know. It's a haze, basically, right? This journey here, it was lame. This adventure, this escapade, whatever you want to call it. We're on a raft, boyo, and we're going to worlds, and we're gonna meet a lot of people, and the people are lame. Actually, I think we only meet those, I don't know, those guys who wear wraith fur and so on, and I didn't really care about that. And what else is there to say about the series? It was just jarring that the author could write 500 plus pages about this journey that is lame as hell. It's lame as hell. I'm sorry to say this. It's lame, it's boring, it's just whatever. There are good parts here and there, but overall it's just a big, F minus to me. But we get hints here and there. There are promises here and there that just they attract you, they snap you out of your sleep, right? We get all of these slight mentions about the future and what's gonna happen and the fate of this guy Raul Endymion, who he got a bad deal, and she is the one who teaches, but she doesn't really know anything yet. And when we have the Shrike who comes along for the ride at the end, and we don't really know, and then we find out that the AI core is still alive and kicking, which of course I kind of figured out by the end of the other book, and it might be that the AI core isn't the real antagonist here. It may be the ultimate intelligence. It may be something even more than that, but we don't really know. We don't really know what's really going on here because again, there's a lot of fluff. There's a lot of detritus here. A lot of useless stuff we don't need in this book. We have already two books with a lot of scientific mumbo jumbo, whatever. Get that out of the way. We don't need to know how these ships work. We don't need to know. That doesn't make it good sci fi. That doesn't make it a good story, okay? Just because we know how the Hawking drives work and how the torch ships work. Nobody cares about that. This is about the story. This is about the characters, okay? So if you're gonna write a sci-fi story, keep the technology at a minimum. At a minimum, nobody cares about that. Okay, and I say as a writer and as a reader, first of all, what drives a reader's interest is the characters. If the characters are interesting, uh, you know, it kind of compensates for the actual story being a bit boring. Okay, if you have good, interesting, individualistic characters, then the story being lame gets a pass, right? And most writers, they either have a good story and bad characters, or good characters and a bad story. You rarely find a writer that's good at both, right? But I would say that characters take uh, uh, the most important spot, you know, and then the story is secondary, right? The most important part of a book is the characters, plain and simple. I mean, you can have a lame story, but if the characters are interesting, I'm invested. And this book had neither a good story or, decent characters, which is a shame because I know that the writer could have accomplished this. So I'm saying, what drove this author to write a 500-page story, a book about these people being on a raft and going to worlds that we do not care about, right? And all of these nonsensical details, so many details about nothing, right? And then you have, you know, the father, Captain DeSoya, and his Raphael ship, and they're just fucking around. They're chasing these people, and they have to go to worlds, and it's just one embarrassing chase scene after another, and these people fail miserably. They're incompetent for some reason with all of this technology, and just wow, wow. It's a damn shame. This book could have been phenomenal, and it was just subpar. The chase scenes in this book are just so yikes. So yikes. Father Captain De Soya and his people were just so blatantly incompetent and awkward and embarrassing with their work that it's just wow. Not a good character. Not a good character. Extremely incompetent. They never they never question what they're doing. They're just obedient pawns, and they say it. They say this. They admit to it in the book. They say, they're just obedient soldiers, obedient Jesuits, and they never question anything because that's how they were educated, right? And they fail miserably with all of the technology. Wow, a damn shame, bro. A damn shame. I mean, no wonder fans of the Cantos don't like this book, Endymion. I mean, I don't know. This book had a lot of potential, and I was actually interested in this Raoul Endymion. I'm interested why he gets to where he is at the beginning of the book. He writes his memoirs in this prison that is said to kill him, and I was actually interested in this guy, but then you keep on reading, and it's just bland after bland after bland page after bland chapter, and it's a damn shame. Everything, every ingredient that makes a good story was in this book, but they were poorly managed. Poorly managed. I have to say this. This was a failed book. A failed book in its narrative, in its premise, in its characters. It was a complete failure, and I'm sorry. The fact that this was published just shows the incompetence of the editors and the publishers. You can't trust them because I have experience with them, and I don't know. Just because you have a name doesn't mean that you can just publish anything, right? This should have been rewritten, at least parts of it, because Dan Simmons is not a bad writer, right? And for this to be allowed to be published, I mean, I don't know what happened. What happened? What made anybody involved with this publication think that this would be great? That the fans would love this. This was nothing, right? This was a flop. Very disappointing. I'm very disappointed. But anyway, this was Endymion by Dan Simmons. Should you read it? I don't know. I don't know. I just wanted to find out what this great saga was all about, and I'm on the third book, and I'm questioning why this is so acclaimed because there's a lot of interesting stuff in here, but at the end of the day, I mean, you can't just keep jerking us around. Just give us some answers already. You cannot just promise, well, let me tell you, in the future, shit's gonna go down, and by the fourth book, you're gonna find out. But how about give us some more detail in the other books? You can't just give all the answers at in the final book. That's just bad writing, in my humble opinion. And that's about it.